Continuing my series looking at all of the Beer Judge Certification Programme beer styles, today we look at 13B British Brown Ale. Hi, I'm Joanne the Beer School Lady, and I teach beer lovers how to taste beer with confidence and to develop their knowledge of the world's favourite beverage. Make sure you subscribe to find all of our latest beer education videos. So British brown beer comes into category 13 of the BJCP style guidelines, which is brown British beer, surprisingly. It's got an interesting history, and as with a lot of beer history, there's a bit of mystery around it. Variously, people say that it has come from porters and stouts, with the innovation in the malting process in the 1800s. Brown ale was made without roasted barley, which gave it a nutty, caramel, more malty flavour than the roastiness that you got in porters and stouts. It was also sweeter, but pale ale was on the rise and it almost killed off this beer style until the early 20th century. Depending on what story you read, brown ale was either saved by Mann's Brewery in East London or by Newcastle breweries in the north of England. Interestingly though, when Newcastle breweries first brewed their brown ale, their brewer, Lieutenant James Herbert Porter, slightly ironic name, was actually trying to brew a Bass Pale Ale and thought it was a failure. That beer, as we know it today, is now Newcastle Brown Ale. A British brown ale can be categorised into Southern Brown Ale or London Brown Ale and Northern Brown Ale. The Northern Brown Ale is usually stronger, less sweet and more bitter, and is a red amber colour. The London or Southern Brown Ale has a lower ABV, is sweeter with a lower IBU and is brown in colour. What we're looking for in a brown ale is a malty but hoppy beer, often with chocolate or caramel notes, sometimes nuttiness, but it never has roastiness. The hop flavour and aroma should complement the malt flavour. Our style guidelines for a British brown ale are: colour should be amber to brown, which is 12 to 22 on the SRM scale. ABV is lower to normal, which is 4.2 to 5.4%. The perceived bitterness is moderate at 20 to 30 IBUs. And the serving temperature is suggested at 7 to 12 degrees Celsius, which is 45 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. The perfect glass for a British brown ale is a nonic pint or a dimpled pub glass. These are very traditional English beer glasses. Here are the two beers that I decided to try for British brown ale. I picked two versions of the brown ale to try. Hobgoblin Ruby from the UK. I've always contested that this is not a brown ale. I would say it's more of a ruby ale, but I think that's a UK thing. After trying it against the style guidelines, I think this was actually very within the style guidelines more than the other beer that I tried. This has very toffee malt aroma, some nuttiness and a light chocolate note. There's no discernible hop aroma, but there is some subtle fruitiness coming from the English Ale Yeast. It is dark amber, it's got brilliant clarity, and it has a moderate off-white head that's got very good head retention, quite lingers there for quite a while. It has light bitterness from the hops, just to balance out those malts. It's got caramel and toffee notes with a moderate malt sweetness. A light nutty character behind this, which makes it very tasty. There's no hop flavour and there are only low fruity esters, thinking like dried fruit, and it has a medium finish. So there's a touch of sweetness lingering in the finish there. It's got medium body and medium carbonation. This is a very caramel-centric version with lots of nuttiness, and I think I have been swayed to believe that this is now a brown ale rather than me keep calling it a ruby ale. I pitted the Hobgoblin against Newcastle Brown Ale. Unfortunately, as you can see, it is in a clear glass bottle, which I believe has added some faults to the beer. It's got a sweet malt aroma with some nutty notes. However, as soon as you open the bottle, there's a real skunky aroma. I believe it has been light struck because it is in a clear glass bottle, which has afforded the beer no protection from UV rays. But once you get past that, there is a light buttery caramel aroma. There's no discernible hop aroma and no fruity esters in this one. It is clear amber, very good clarity, with a foamy white head with moderate retention there. It's got a moderate malt sweetness, light caramel and some subtle nuttiness. It's got a dry finish. There isn't any sweetness hanging around in the linger. It's got medium bitterness, no discernible hop character, and no fruity esters. This one's much more nutty and caramel than got the fruitiness that the Hobgoblin had. It's got a medium light body and medium carbonation. I found it slightly thinner than the Hobgoblin. It's more nutty and bread crust. I think the clear bottle is an issue with this. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the Hobgoblin. If you want to learn more about the Beer Judge Certification Programme Star Guidelines, check out the playlist that's on your screen now. And to follow my journey through the beer styles, make sure you subscribe to Love Beer Learning.